Hello, this is Jonathan Pickard, and welcome to our course on data security. In our first course module, we will look at information security, also known as InfoSec, define the major fields within information security, and seek to understand how to manage these risks. It has to be managed as there are so many risks out there today. We will then look into the revolution, which is modern cryptology. Detailing the history of crypto, we will show how that evolved within the computer revolution. In doing so, we will rapidly understand aspects of modern crypto. And in our final module, we'll look at the Pretty Good Privacy Standard, PGP for short, and its open source implementation, GNU Privacy Guard. This will be a deep dive where we will showcase how to utilize this modern crypto technology for free in your everyday life, and how to implement it within your data infrastructure. Data security is an omnipresent issue, and now a daily news item. This past year in 2014, we've seen security vulnerabilities such as Shell-shocked, the Linux bash shell exploit, to huge data breaches, which include JP Morgan Chase, Lowe's, and Target, just to name a few. And now, at the time of this recording, we are just starting to hear about the Anthem security breach, a breach of customer data that may affect 80 million Americans. That's even more than the individuals affected by the JP Morgan Chase security breach. And with social security numbers taken from the Anthem database, I think we'll start to understand this year how much damage hackers can really do. It'll most likely be something that is much more insidious than what we have seen before. But there are glimmers of light too. It's not all doom and gloom. In the presence of insecurity, companies like Apple and Google are starting to double down on their efforts to protect data and information systems. If we look at Apple Pay, that's a technology that really helps in the frictional cost associated with credit card transactions. In the specific instance of Apple Pay, payment tokenization is coming into effect. Tokenization being the substitution of a sensitive number for an arbitrary one. In this instance, we're tokenizing credit card numbers. That is, taking a sensitive credit card number and substituting an arbitrary value in its place. Now, via third party, with this system, blocks of tokens will be established during transactions. This aids the merchant in several ways. Firstly, it transfers risk. Since the merchant doesn't have the real credit card number, if the system gets compromised, that number won't be valid elsewhere. Secondly, it lessens the regulatory burdens associated with holding a real credit card number, and potentially enabling that merchant to be more innovative in the process. Thirdly, if a separate entity loses the token, like merchant B, it has no effect on other merchants, such as merchant A. I find data security so attractive because in some ways it's like magic. It empowers me to do things that I can't do in the physical world. For example, let's look at talking in public. In the real world, everyone in earshot can hear me. In the virtual world, I can choose the individuals that can see or hear my video, despite giving that video to the entire world. For another example, let's look at a vault. In the real world, physical locks are involved, meaning I can definitely break it given enough time and energy. Even if I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a safe, someone or some entity can break it. In the virtual world, I go beyond the physical to mathematics, implementing a solution so strong that it makes even the most powerful governments in the world shake in their boots.